Hello world, welcome to another week of Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz coming to you after the Masters, and Hideki Matsuyama makes history, becoming the first male Japanese golfer to win a major championship. What a performance it was, Sleaze.
Yeah, dude, I mean, we said going into last week, you and I both thought this might be the most wide-open Masters we could remember in a long time. We expected a jammed leaderboard, a lot of the top players playing so well going into this thing, and we were right until about Saturday after the rain delay. And from that point on, Hideki put his foot down and, I mean, really made this thing, wasn't in question for a long time until it was again. But he played great, and I just thought it got a lot closer than I thought at the end there. We got a little brief, moment of excitement there with Xander, and then that went away, and then Hideki continued to back up, and all of a sudden Will Zalatoris only finishes up one behind him at the end, which I couldn't believe after, Will didn't have his best day on the greens yesterday. But fun Masters. Fun to see Augusta back with some fire in it, dude. I mean, you were down there on property. You got to see the place for the first time. I thought the golf course played unbelievable. Perfect, but challenging these guys all week, but not ever going over the line and getting kind of Mickey Mouse like we've seen with some USGA events in the past.
Yeah, it was really firm on Thursday. It was fun to watch the guys, really have to battle and think their way around Augusta National. Justin Rose got off to an unreal start with that 65. For me being out there, I definitely didn't see something like that. But then, it kind of softened up as the week went on. Obviously, it was very unfortunate that they had the weather delay on Saturday. But that's where Hideki Matsuyama really separated himself. Shot that 7 under par 65. And then, he got off to a really nervy start on Sunday on the first hole, but then just got it together and put on an absolute clinic. Had a 5-shot lead with 9 holes to play. Everybody's like, this thing's over. But, hey, you look back to 2016, Jordan Spieth, same situation. Obviously ended up not winning the golf tournament. And here's Hideki, just looked, in total control. Couple slip-ups here, but more just great play from Xander Schauffele, making 4 birdies in a row, 12 through 15, and then just a shot that just you can't afford to hit in the situation. With the 16, he's got the famous back left hole location where you can use the slope. He pulls it left in the water, makes triple bogey, and that was pretty much it. I mean, I know Will Zalatoris ended up losing by a shot, but it was really never that close. You got to tip your cap to Hideki. That's awesome. Awesome for him. Awesome for Japan. I mean, he was already a superstar over there, but now he's at a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's going to get to Elvis levels over there from everything that I'm reading and how big, those Japanese stars are over there. But you were there. You got to cruise around the place for the first time. Did it live up to the hype, everything you expected it to be?
Oh, it was an unbelievable week. I had so much fun. It was so cool to walk around that golf course. I think I walked it probably 3 or 4 times total. It's a special, special place. I was so happy to finally step on the grounds of Augusta National, and everyone was so nice. I talked to a lot of the members, obviously a lot of the patrons. Everyone was so nice, supportive of everything we're doing, and it was a special week. I'm thankful to CBS for letting me, be on the grounds and participate in the broadcast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, beautiful. I want to ask you, because you mentioned Thursday. It was awesome. I mean, Thursday was like, this is how I would draw up a Masters. The scoring average was like 74 or thereabouts. 12 guys under par. It looked so tough out there. But yet there were still good scores to be had. Like you said, Justin Rose went out and went ham that day, which was unbelievable round of golf. Then we got the rain a little bit. Then the following day, and then the weekend a little bit softer, still firm. Do you think that's where Augusta wanted it? Like at that level, because I felt like they could have pressed it maybe a little bit more on the weekend, but they didn't, and maybe just out of fear for we don't want this thing to get too weird out there.
Well, Thursday was getting borderline uncomfortable. I mean, what Justin Rose did was ridiculous.
Awesome.
I mean, if you missed your spot where you're trying to land your iron shot just by a couple of yards, you were getting punished, and it was going off the green or God knows where. And I think they panicked a little bit. The weather kind of changed. It got a lot more humid throughout the week, which keeps the moisture in the greens. But they have sub-air there, so they could have turned it on. But, I think they got a little nervous. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was as firm as I've ever seen it. The greens were brown on Monday. So, yeah, I think they might have panicked just a little bit. They didn't want it to get crazy soft, and they didn't want it to get crazy firm, but I thought it was an awesome test. If you played some really good golf, you got rewarded. If you didn't, you got punished, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, 10 under par wins the golf tournament? That's pretty much, I think, perfect for a major championship, in my opinion. I just thought Thursday, I was like, oh, my God, if this stays like this the entire week, these dudes are going to be fried by the time they get out of there. But it was fun, man. Matsuyama gets it done. First major, Xander right there. Jordan Spieth, shockingly, in the mix once again at Augusta National. I mean, the guy, it's weird, rewind 5-6 months ago, and all the conversation was, is Jordan, when's he going to be back? When's he, why aren't you asking him the questions about his slump? And all of a sudden it's like, 6 top 10s in the last 8 events, contending pretty much for the last month straight. It's fun watching Jordan do Jordan things around Augusta, because there's a few Jordan moments there where, like, a couple of the chip-ins and things like that, I was like, this might be the week he does it.
Yeah, I think he lost it on Saturday with the putter. He really struggled, lost a few strokes and strokes gained putting, and just, never got it rolling like we're normally used to seeing Jordan Spieth. But, he played great. I mean, he's had a really long stretch of golf here. He admitted to being a little tired, but, ended up tying for third, which I know is not what he wants, but still, it's a step in the right direction. But, man, Hideki Matsuyama, what a week. It's so cool for him. I mean, here's a guy who, other than Tiger Woods, I don't know if anybody has to answer to the media more than he does. He's got just a mob of media members following him around. He's got the weight of a whole country on his shoulders. So I think this week was just such a big relief. And he admitted, because of COVID, a lot of the media members from Japan couldn't come over. He didn't have to do near as many interviews, entertain near as many people, and it was a lot more relaxing for him. But he went out and got it done, and now he is the man in Japan.
And how about the way he got it done? Like, we know Hideki's a great ball striker. Tee to green, he's been unbelievable basically since he came out, since he was, a rookie out there. But he did it this week, I thought, putting and scrambling. I guess putter was good enough, clearly good enough, and his scrambling was unbelievable. Like, I'm not used to thinking Hideki Matsuyama and thinking of a short game, and this week it was a joke how good it was.
Yeah, the up and down on 13 I thought was clutch when he almost flew it in the azaleas. It comes back, made that chip shot look rather easy. Even the bunker shot on 18, he hit the terrible pitching wedge after just a great tee shot. All you got to do is hit the green, 3 putts, this thing's over. He misses it in the right bunker. I'm like, fat this one, leave it in the bunker, maybe catch it a little thin with the nerves, go over the green. Will Zalatoris might not be out of this thing, but just an awesome bunker shot, awesome short game all week, something he's not known for, like you said. Really put on a clinic around the greens, and he was a deserving champion. It was really cool to see the emotion from Hideki.
Dude, I'm glad you mentioned that about the shot on 18 and blowing it in the bunker. I was thinking that same thing. I was like, all right, if this is me, I mean, it's a chunk and run. It's not that hard of a bunker shot, but I'm like, all right, so I overchunk it and I leave it in here. Now I got to get up and down, or I knife it and send it into the patrons. And the shot on 15, too, after he hit it in the water long, he had that thing laid wide open. I was like, God, if this lands on the green, he could be chipping it back into the water. Then he's got some real decisions to make. I'm glad to hear that you were thinking kind of the same things. I was like, this thing ain't done in my world right here. This is chunk or knife city.
Yeah, I thought he could have put it away a few times, but in the end, he got it done, and awesome for him, awesome for Japan. That's a big deal over there. I mean, the Masters is huge in Japan. Golf is huge in Japan, and for him to be the first male to win a major championship is really, really cool. But, Sleeves, we got to get to our man this week, a man who's played Augusta National a number of times. He's the legend. Larry Fitzgerald sits down with us.
A man who knows what it's like to get a lot of media attention, especially in this town. Larry Fitzgerald in the house. We got to play some golf with him the week prior, so see what that game was looking like. We get into a lot of things with the man. We get Pebble Beach, the 2-time champs there with Kevin Streelman. We get into a little football. You guys, you'll hear what we talk about there. But there's just no, this. I feel like we're beating a dead horse, and we're kind of saying the cliche thing. There's not a better dude in the world. It's almost like the first time I met him a number of years ago, and I got done with the conversation, I was like, is this really you? Are you really this nice, or is this some sort of an act or whatever? And it turns out it is actually genuine. He is just one of the best guys. And, I feel like we're, like I said, beating a dead horse, but it's real.
Yeah, I tell everyone he's the nicest man I've ever met. So let's get to it. Here's Larry Fitzgerald on Golf Subpar.
All right. Our guy here today has so many NFL awards and records, it would take about half the show to get through them all. So we'll just leave it at one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game of football. But more impressively, single-handedly has carried Kevin Streelman to 2 AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am victories. Larry Fitzgerald in the house. Good to be with you.
Glad to be with you guys as well. I appreciate you having me.
I'm glad you could squeeze us in between golf rounds. I don't know if there's a man on the planet that plays more golf than you.
I don't know about that. I know a few guys that definitely play more golf than me, but I do enjoy the game. It's something that brings me a lot of joy. The thing I most enjoy about it is just the people you're able to meet, the relationships you're able to build, and you never see anybody unhappy on the golf course. Every time, no matter what you shoot, you're frustrated from time to time, but you're never unhappy.
I like it. Well, tell us what drew you to the game of golf, because you haven't been playing that long.
Yeah, I've been playing about 7-8 years. One of my former teammates who now plays currently for the Houston Texans, Andre Roberts, was like, "Man, Fitz, you got to try something. All you do is sit at the house and do this and that. You gotta try something different. And I was like, man, I'll try it. So I went out to this little charity event. I played like a dog, but I hit a couple shots, and I hit a couple. I compressed it, and like still to this day, there's nothing better than a compressed golf ball going in the direction that you want. Like there's no better feeling. And I did it, and ever since then I've been completely hooked.
That's awesome. Yeah, you play tons. We were just talking before the show, and you're like, oh, when are you playing next? Oh, a couple hours from now. So you get out there and go. What'd you used to do with your free time before golf came along?
Nothing productive. Nothing productive. Wasted a whole lot of time. It's frustrating that I've been here 17 years. It'd be 18 years in April, and I only been playing golf for 8 of the years I've been here, which is frustrating. I wasted 8 years of the best golf in the world, and so I can never get that back. So I still kick myself for not playing earlier.
We're about a +3 right now.
Yeah,
starting early.
Yeah.
I looked up. You are a 4.8 index right now.
Yeah,
so not too bad. But we got to talk a little bit about you're a member at Whisperock, where we all play. About your process of joining there and the deal Greg Trias, the owner, made with you.
So about 7 years ago, I've been playing for about 6 months or so, and another Whisperock member, a guy by the name of John Langbine, local member here. He was really close with Greg, and he called Greg on a conference call. And I said, hey, Mr. Trias, hey, I know I've met you a couple times in passing. I really would love the opportunity to join Whisperock. And he said, there's no way in hell you're joining my club. I heard about how you play, and I'm not playing behind somebody that hits it all over the place. It's gonna make me wait, from shot to shot. So until you break 90, you don't have a chance of ever joining any club I'm associated with. I'll see to it that it won't happen. And so, you know what? Just like any competitor, he lit a fire under me, and I went to work. I worked hard, tirelessly, and I was up to hitting balls over at Gainey Ranch and all these different places trying to get my game together. And I remember I was playing over at McCormick, and I hit 4-iron off every single tee because that's the only thing I could keep somewhat in the general vicinity of straight. And I shot my little 89, and I was ecstatic. As soon as the round was over, I called him, and Mr. Trias said, "Cut the check. I'm a man of my word. You can come on in."
That is awesome.
Yeah.
How was it closing out that round, knowing all right, got to get in an 89, and this thing's done?
The worst thing for me is ever to know where I'm at. I don't like to carry the scorecard, or I'd like to add them up in my head after the round. I never like to know, hey, bro, all you need to do is make par, and you'll shoot 89. That's the word. That's the kiss of death.
Yep.
I'm for sure going to make a 5 on one hole, and you know what I mean. And so I never wanted to know what I was. And John told me, Larry, you did it. And we added them up stroke by stroke every single hole, and I was able to do it. I was one of the happier days of my life.
I mean, what a man of your word you are. Because, you easily could have just been like, oh, hey, Greg, I shot 88 today.
No.
That's awesome. I love that you went out there and you grinded it out and got it done.
No, you guys both play professionally, and something that you don't ever do is you don't lie on the golf course. You don't cheat the game. It's something that that's bad karma. And still to this day, man, I sometimes would take a double when it was really a X, you know what I mean? But I can't take any more based on my handicap anyway, so it doesn't make any sense to add them up. But, I always say what I had, and, I'm usually keeping count of the guys I'm playing with, too.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. You said you've been playing a little over 7 years now. What's low round so far for Larry Fitzgerald?
I've shot 73 times.
73 times.
Yeah, I can't get past it. It's been killing me. It's been
Desert
killing me.
golf. Because your strength, you hit it far, you do a lot of things good, but desert golf, you hit one out, you hit a couple crooked ones, it's double basically.
I can score, good round. I've made 8 birdies in a round before. I can score. I'm always prone for that double. I just don't know when it's gonna happen, and it could be something as stupid as leave it right in the right place and blade it across the green into the just something stupid. And then the T-ball, sometimes gets a little sporadic on me.
We played the other day, and you were 1 under through 8. You were playing great.
Yeah.
And then you get to the 13th hole, and you hit it out of play, and you're like, see, this is what happens every time. It's almost like you're just waiting on it to happen.
I know it's going to show up at some point, right?
It doesn't have to. You can go the whole day without it.
I would love for it not to. If I could just keep the driver and the 3-wood in play consistently, I feel like I'll be solid. Because from 150 and I feel like I'm out of 1.
You chip it unbelievable.
Yeah, I feel like I'm solid around the greens, and if I'm putting decent, I can get it. I can fill it up.
Is that part of the reason why you and Streels are such a beast at Pebble? Because like you get to play up tees, you don't have to hit driver if you don't need to, so you can hit irons, you keep it in play, and then you go out there and you can shoot some digits out there.
Well, Streels is the model of consistency. Like he never makes big numbers. He hits the driver straight as a needle. I mean, he puts the ball on the green. If he's putting it good, he's going to be in contention. He's going to be playing well because his driver literally does not move. I mean, where he aims it usually goes, and so I know I just need to chip in on my shot holes, make a couple net birdies. I'll make a couple natural birdies, and he's going to do his thing. I mean, and out there, I played with him 5 years. Streels never finished outside of the top 27 anytime we've ever played. So he just has a good feel for those courses. He's comfortable there. I don't know what it is. He always plays well. So I just got to do my job.
What's the difference? Because y'all won there twice. So you obviously have huge success. But you play with him at home. Is it any different playing with him at home versus playing with him at AT&T?
No, he's still talking shit. Still messing with me. And I love Streels to death, man, because he's one of those guys that, I mean, you guys play professionally, and playing with guys who are just now beginning, it's not enjoyable when you're looking for balls in the desert, and like when you guys are not doing that, your balls are going where you would want them to go. And so I remember when I first got into the club and I met him, he would play with me, and he would give me literally 18 shots and take money from me every single time. And now it's all the way down to about three aside now, so like it's getting lower and lower, and hopefully I can whip his ass, mano a mano here.
We're hoping
Well, you owe him a little payback because he came on this show and we asked him if he had a 10-footer to save his life, who would he pick, you or Brian Urlacher? And he went against you, dude.
That's okay. Lack does make some good putts, so playing that nasty cut he hits, Yeah,
it's a little quick. Yeah. It's a little quick with that. You got to let that little hitch in there for a big fella. How did y'all's partnership? Because clearly we all play at the same club, so you meet Kevin out there. But how did the partnership for AT&T start? Who recruited who? Did he go to you and be like, Larry, I want you to play? Or were you like, hey man, I'd love to get in that Pro-Am?
Well, so Mr. John, who runs the Monterey Peninsula Foundation, a former Whisper Rock member, asked me if I wanted to play with Kevin, knowing that we had history and also just my familiarity and comfortability with him. And so it was great, because Streels is like this. I mean, his temperament, good, bad, or indifferent, he's always the same guy. It makes it a lot of fun. He's so well respected out there on tour, in his station, as what was his position at the PGA? Players Advisory Council. I mean, so he's got a great understanding of the game, the relationship with sponsors, just etiquette and how he carries himself on a daily basis really suited me. And I think that really helped me just to feel comfortable when I was playing the tournament.
What are the nerves like for you that week? Because, I mean, obviously you don't play golf professionally, but you've been very successful at that event. You get nervous?
No, I get a little nervous. There's no question about that, but it's liberating and freeing to know that you have somebody who does it for a living, and for the most part, you just got to contribute a little bit. He's never going to be out of the hole. Whenever I have my bad holes, he always makes par. So it's just no stress at all, and that makes it a lot more comfortable.
What about when you hit it a little offline and you get the galleries racing over to the ball and they form that little tunnel to watch you hit? Something's got to come up at that point, I would think.
The thing I'm most proud about, I've never hit a spectator before in any events, and I always worry about that, because fans stand entirely too close at that tournament. I was like, look, I know that guy might be a CEO of a Fortune 200 company, but I would not bet on him hitting every single fairway. So you should back up a little bit, and so it's cool. But I've hit some over in some different places, but I've never actually hit anybody, so that's comforting.
Knock on wood. Yeah, exactly.
Your ball comes off a little faster than a lot of guys too, so they definitely need to back up. But let's talk a little bit about your relationship with Tiger Woods. I know y'all become good friends over the years. You played much golf with him? Yeah,
I played golf with him a few times, and more so just talking and getting advice and getting some guidance. He's a unbelievable wealth of knowledge in terms of just dealing with celebrity and living in the spotlight. I mean, he's been in the spotlight since he was 3 years old, played in the biggest, most pressure cooking things, dealt with, personal life issues. I mean, he's kind of touched all the bases and has unbelievable insight. And so, I always pick his mind about those type of things. He's been a great friend and mentor, and, I just always, want the best for him. I'm glad he's been able to get back home and be able to rest comfortably, and I just hope that he's making a speedy recovery.
You guys keep in constant contact? Like, will you text him, reach out like after he wins a tournament or something like the accident?
Yeah, I've talked to him a couple times, since the accident, and he seems to be in good spirit. And I try not to bother him. I know he's got a lot going on, and I try not to be a burden. And but I would always check on him, make sure he's good.
That's awesome. Well, a place that's very special to him, and I know special to you, Augusta National.
Mm-hmm.
You recently went and played.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about it. How many times you played?
I've played it a couple times.
Just a couple. You can't even say with a straight face.
I played it a couple times, and I every time you play it, it's one of those places where you're just truly a privilege to be, not only play the golf course, but to be on the grounds when you come in there, and every single detail is just so immaculately done. I mean, from the green curbs, I mean, not a chip of paint ever out of place. No leaves on the ground. I mean, it's unbelievable to see the level of detail that's done there, and from the food and the hospitality, the service, the accommodations. I mean, it's a golf mecca for a reason. And I remember the first time I played it, I came in and I was just elated. Just had never been to the tournament before. That was literally my first time on property. Was the first time I played it, and I'm driving down. I'm like a kid, and just with my fingers on the window, just looking out, and everything. So I'm feeling this overwhelming just sense of gratitude. And then I remember I had a complete opposite feeling walking up 18. Like, I was depressed walking up 18 because it's almost over, and you never know if you'll ever be able to have the opportunity to come back again. And so like I remember putting out on 18, and I'm shaking everybody's hand, and I got my hand in my head like, damn, I gotta go home now.
Emergency 9, emergency 9, fellas. What do you say?
That's so cool.
Yeah,
what's your lowest up there?
I have shot 80 a couple times.
Okay,
never broke 80.
All those right to left holes not ideal for that little buttercut you like to peel out there.
I know. 10 eats me up. 3 eats me up. I just don't know how to play that hole. I mean, hit driver right up there short of the mound, and then blade it over the back of the green, or chip it up to the hill, and it goes back down. That hole eats me up.
What's your favorite hole on property?
7, I would say, is my favorite. Yeah, because I drove that green one time.
You drove 7?
Yeah, I drove the green. Yeah, I was.
God.
Yeah, so that was a fun one.
Those muscles ain't just for look, dude.
No.
Those things are functional.
No, they're functional.
You travel a ton too. I think I've read you've been over like 100 countries. Mm-hmm. Augusta National is like the place everyone wants to go to. What are some other trips you've made with your favorite golf courses?
Well, going to play in the old course, it's like the great program is for any golfer. You go and you experience that, and everybody who's ever played the game for the last 200-300 years has played that place, and it's majestic. It's not like a hard course, but so much history, so many wonderful tournaments, and great champions have played the course. And another place that my buddy Andre, that introduced me to the game, he married an Australian girl, so we go to Australia every single year. And I don't know if the listeners, you definitely got to go visit Australia.
You spent 50 days there.
Yeah, my first trip ever leaving was to Australia, and I kind of like backpacked and road tripped it around the whole country. It was really, really an awesome experience. The people there are fantastic, and so much history, and getting to learn about the Aborigine culture. And it was a lot of fun. I didn't play golf at that point either, so I was really kind of just submerging myself in the culture and the cuisines and the different experiences there. But now mostly it's just golf trips. We go watch the Australian Open tennis and play golf 36 every day. It's awesome.
Give me a golf course you haven't played that you want to play, in a country you haven't visited that you want to visit.
So I got Jimmy Dunn is taking a bunch of us over to Ireland. I've never been to Ireland, so all the courses there. I mean I've studied them, looked at them, topography and all of the stuff. That I'm like researching places and the rain gear I need and all the stuff. Like so I'm really looking forward to going there. So that's been on the bucket list for a long time.
Royal County Down.
That's the best.
I love it.
Okay.
That's where we played the Walker Cup. It's unbelievable. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
you'll love it over there.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's some good spot. You've played all these great golf courses. You played with tons of cool people. Is there a person you've gotten to meet through golf that stands out to you that otherwise you maybe never would have had a chance to meet?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. But I mean I'll say there's a few guys that have really kind of just opened my Greg Trias. You know, he opened the door, let me into Whisper Rock, and just so many great things have kind of transpired since I got into Whisper Rock. All the great people I've been able to meet and the connections, and that's taken me, you know, to different areas. And then, you know, Jimmy Dunn and Sam Reeves, two guys that, you know, I love dearly, have really, really taken me under their wing also, and, you know, kind of taught me the game, you know, from a different perspective that I didn't really see it. So, I mean, golf is like one of those games that it just continues to like this open new doors and teach you new things, not only on the game, but in terms of life. And it's just like one of the, you know, Sam Reeves is 87 years old, and I mean, he's still, every time he plays golf with people, he's learning. You know, he's constantly asking questions and inquisitive, and it was just an eye-opening experience for me to see, you know, just how much you can you know, grow in terms of learning from the game.
That's so cool. But obviously here in Phoenix, you're probably the biggest celebrity in town, but you're a guy that you still go out a lot at night. You eat dinner in public and all this. How is it for you when you go out? Do people mess with you at all? Or?
No, I mean, I like to get out, so it's not an anomaly to see me out, and, you know, I'm pretty personable, so, you know, I chit chat with most people, and I mean, they treat me just like everybody else, which is really nice, you know, because people say he's a dad and just a local citizen. I like that. That's what I love about Phoenix is it's a really big city, but it's really small though. I mean, everybody knows each other. You go to the same restaurants. You're at Steak 44 or over at the Henry or Tarbell's. I mean, like everybody's there and enjoying it. And so, I mean, it's a great city and I love it.
Awesome. You're almost too approachable, because I know for a while there was times where you'd be walking around the mall and there might be an old lady come up and pinch you on the ass too. You're a little too friendly, dude.
Yeah, that's happened on several occasions. You know, I give the old ladies passes though. You know, you know.
That is too funny. Well, we got to talk a little bit of football. I mean, one of the greatest to ever do it. I'm always curious about draft night for you guys. Mm-hmm. You know, you come out, you're superstar at Pitt. You had a little issue with the NFL, right? You weren't going to be allowed to go to the draft in 2004 at first.
Yeah. So Maurice Clarett and Mike Williams. Maurice Clarett was at Ohio State. Mark Williams is playing wide receiver at USC, and both of them were sophomores, as was I. And I remember their representation got in contact with me about petitioning the National Football League, and if not petitioning, you know, fighting our way in. And I was sitting there talking to my dad and, you know, some other people were like, yeah, I don't know if you really want to get into a fight with the National Football League before you've actually gotten there. It's probably not a good way to start. And so we decided not to go that route. We went a different route, reached out to them and tried to find another way to go. And technically I was graduated in 2001, but I went to prep school. So I was technically 3 years removed from my original graduating class. And that's what essentially opened the door and allowed me to get in, you know, after my sophomore year. So I was pretty fortunate to be able to do that, and very lucky to be drafted here by Dennis Green and Rod Graves and Steve Keim, who was also here, who's the general manager now. We're all here, and it was very it was comforting to kind of come in and play for a head coach that I have familiarity with. He was a head coach of the Minnesota Vikings when I was a ball boy there, and so like it was a lot of familiar faces and really allowed me to kind of just spread my wings a bit.
Going into that night, did you kind of know like number 3 at Arizona was your spot?
No, because I had gotten a lot of contact from the Oakland Raiders, who had the second pick, and I've been to visit them twice before the draft. And the general manager actually went to Valley Forge Military Academy, Mike Lombardi, and so we had a lot of dialogue prior to the draft, and even draft night we had some dialogue. So I really thought I was going to go to Oakland. And they ended up taking Robert Gallery with the second pick. And when I got to Arizona, you know, I was hoping that they would take me, and they did.
Awesome. I want to go back before you got to the NFL to your high school days when you were ball boy for the Minnesota Vikings. You talked about that a lot. Is it true you developed a relationship with Randy Moss, Chris Carter? They were like two of the best to ever do it. Those guys would show up to your high school football games at the time and watch you play? Yeah, man, it was crazy. It wasn't uncommon to have like 6 or 7 guys come to one of my high school games. It was so cool, and you know, it just made you feel so loved and appreciated as a youngster. You know, you're 16 years old and your idols showing up to your games. I mean, Kevin Garnett would come to a game here and there. I mean, like it was really awesome, man. I had one of the best childhoods ever,
And to be able to call on those guys, pick their minds, ask them questions, good, bad, or indifferent. How do I make a decision on my college choices? All of those questions I could ask them at any point, and they made themselves very approachable for me, and I loved it, and still keep in contact with all those guys to this day.
Probably doesn't hurt with the ladies when you got some of the NFL's greatest showing up to your games to watch you. Is it true Randy Moss lent you his car for senior prom?
Yeah, he let me drive his. He had the 740 Li BMW, and I was styling and profiling. So
that's awesome.
That helps
that was
too.
Cool. And I didn't tell him I didn't have my license yet, but it was still cool. Yeah.
That's sweet. But I mean, how cool is that though? As a kid, with your dad being a member of the media, I mean, as you said, you're a ball boy for the Vikings. Mm-hmm. You're out there shooting in warm ups with Kevin Garnett, fielding balls with Kirby Puckett, and then you see Mike Modano skating around the ice.
Yeah.
By the way, Mike Modano, I mean, he did all right with the ladies up there in Minneapolis.
I didn't, I was a little young at that time to really know all that about that. I was a good-looking dude, greatest American hockey player ever born in the States, and he's awesome, man. I love Mike. I always enjoy seeing him and catching up with him.
You a big hockey guy?
I watched a lot of it. Yeah. My high school was really good. We won one state championship when I was in high school, and since then they've won a couple more. So our high school was kind of a juggernaut in hockey.
Get to your time in the league. Like you're wide receiver. Clearly, there's been tons of guys who are physically gifted, tall, strong, athletic, and run fast, things like that. You fit that profile as well, but you've separated yourself from all those guys, become one of the best to ever do it. What do you think you do better than all the other guys who's come at wide receiver before you? They have the same physical gifts.
Fortunately, I've been able to stay injury free. That's the biggest thing. To play football for a long time, you have to be able to avoid, the catastrophic injuries. And, for some reason, I've been able to do it thus far. And you look at Jerry Rice's and the Randy Mosses and Terrell, and those guys have all been able to have long careers based on those facts. Also, you just have to have a desire to continue to improve. Once I talk to guys all the time about this, it's like once you reach a certain level, everybody that's playing your position in the league is gunning for you. They want what you have. So it's much more difficult when you're hunted than to hunt. When you're going out there and you're chasing other people and nobody's worried about you. But when you get to the top, everybody's coming for what you have, and so you have to be able to work at a level that's it's hard to maintain. You have to make a lot of sacrifices that other people are unwilling to make. I turn down movie opportunities and this, that, and the third. When you get on the top, there's so many things that come, but never can come before football. And I think a lot of guys make the mistake of getting involved in a little bit too much, and it takes away from what you need to be focusing on. Because at the end of the day, football is what butters the toast. Everything else is secondary, because if you're not doing that, then they're gonna move on from you. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is I always maintain my focus with the game. There's other things I was interested in and I loved, but nothing more than what I wanted to do is play football.
By the way, I just want to go back, because I'm not going to ask you for the answer, but you did say you've been injury free thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Options
up
are
to
open.
this point.
Up to this
You
point.
did also say you were offered movies and things like that. Was there any movies that ended up coming out that you turned down that somebody else got?
They weren't like big roles, but just like cameo appearances and stuff. And it wasn't like a lot of time. It'd be like, hey, you got to be in LA in May and June for a couple, and that stuff was just too much. Or Dancing with the Stars. I didn't want to do anything that would just take away from my preparation. And so it was opportunities presented itself, but I did something I was really eager or enthusiastic to do.
So then they gave it to Shaq. Shaq did it.
Well, Shaq, the NBA guys can do it, man. They're that skilled.
But if you look at your record page in the NFL with the Arizona Cardinals, it's so long, it's ridiculous. We don't have time to go over them. But are you a guy that pays attention to records and stats and all that?
No, not really. I mean, nowadays in the social media age, it's impossible not to know. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you just live under a rock, So I mean, our media relations would say, "Hey, look, Larry, you need this amount of yards and touchdown, or this to be able to get to this milestone." So you have a general idea, but I've never been one that was crazy about individual records. This is a team game. It's not golf. I'm not going out there playing by myself. And it's great to have a bunch of individual records, but if you're not having sustained success as a team, I mean, what are you doing it for? It's about winning championships and making deep playoff runs. You look and you just marvel at guys like Tom Brady who were able to have 20 plus years of just dominance. And you just don't see that often in individual sports, and it makes you work that much harder because you see that it's possible. You're capable of doing things like that, but realistically, it's not. But you still have to have the same mindset to go out there and approach it that way.
You kept your head down, you focused, you turned down a lot of opportunities that were out there because of football, because you wanted to stay focused. So the answer to this might be nothing. But if there's one thing you could do over in your career up to this point, what would you do? Anything different?
I'd have picked up the golf club a little earlier.
That's a good one. That's the only regret.
100%. I would have done that earlier.
I mean,
it would have kept me out of a lot. I made a lot of foolish decisions and did some dumb stuff when I was young. And golf, I'd rather play golf than do anything else. Outside of spending time with my kids or doing those type of things, I'd rather be on the golf course. So going out to Vegas and kicking it until 5 o'clock in the morning, I would have had a tee time at 9, so I would have went to bed earlier. You know what I mean? Like, just those type of things, I think is great. I mean, I encourage like all the young guys to get into it because it really is. It takes a lot of discipline. You're a great athlete, but that ball's not gonna move itself. And trying to get the ball to go in the direction you want is very difficult, and it takes a long time and a lot of effort and thousands of hours to be able to, even to be somewhat proficient at it. So it's a discipline. It's the same thing that you would do when you're running routes. And so I think it's really good if you can get into it early.
I love how obsessed you are with the game. Is it true that you have told defensive players to hit you in the head, not the legs, because you're worried about your golf future?
No, I didn't. I would tell them after, because it's not because of my golf future, but, I wouldn't say it's the most intelligent thought process, but, if you tear your knee up, you are done right now, immediately, and potentially your career is over. You get concussion, and the things that come from, head trauma are things that are going to affect you later on down the line. It was stupid to say, and I wouldn't say it or advise it anymore. But when I was younger, that's the way you think.
Give me a helmet to helmet. Don't go down to the knee. I got to. I'm teeing off at 10:30 tomorrow, boys.
Yeah.
Well, staying on corners, the guys that hit you. Is there one in your career you faced that's been your toughest matchup? One guy that stands out?
Oh man, I was. I was really happy when Cam Chancellor retired.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was very happy. I hated to see him have to retire based on what happened to him, but man, he was a problem, man. That guy was
strong,
physical. He just made life very difficult. Very difficult.
See when you might have looked out of the corner of your eye when you were going across the middle?
Maybe. Every snap I find out where he's at, man.
Hey, Cam, don't hit me in the head or the knees.
Just don't touch me at all.
Yeah, just don't ever even.
It was like this guy was like literally made of granite, man.
Oh man, what's it like playing up there in Seattle too? With
the best atmosphere you could ever imagine. I mean, just literally on third down in the fourth quarter in close games, you can't hear yourself think. I mean, everybody is so close to each other, just trying to get the play call and get the right formation. I mean, it's nothing like it, man. Nothing like it.
Awesome.
You always hand the ball to the ref after a touchdown. Have you ever had a excessive celebration penalty in your career?
No, never had it. I spiked it one time a couple years ago, just because I just wanted to see what it felt like. Didn't feel right at all. But I've never got any penalties. I've gotten penalties for like crackbacks and blindside shots and stuff like that, but never a celebration. Yeah.
The only wide receiver maybe ever not get an excessive.
So I mean, you always
Calvin Johnson wasn't really all that celebratory. Andre Johnson, guys in my era, we took like a little small hiatus from a lot of celebration. The elite guys.
Now you got like the choreographed dances and all. Now it's getting into like Dancing with the Stars.
You know what? I like it though. It's fun. It's entertaining. I mean, it brings the fans. Gives them something to talk about, and I like the creativity. I mean, it's cool. Yeah. I just don't have the rhythm or the style to do some of the stuff that they do.
So that's why you didn't go on Dancing with the Stars, not because you're focused on. You didn't want to get out there.
I have not danced since my high school prom, man. Yeah,
that's incredible.
And I got two left legs.
So. You always hand the ball to the ref most of the time after touchdown. You ever keep any of the balls?
Yeah. So I would keep every 10. Like if I reach touchdown 50 or 60 or 70 or 8, like I just keep that ball. So I have
your trophy case look.
I don't have anything up in my house. I have all my stuff in storage. If you came to my house, you would never know what I did.
Really?
That's when you score a lot of tubs, when you only keep one of every 10. We just do it in 10 increments.
No, I just don't believe in having a bunch of stuff up in the house.
Tell me about, because you have 121 receiving touchdowns. Mm-hmm. You have 1 passing touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who was that to?
That was to David Johnson. It was 2 years ago. Byron Leftwich, who is the offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay Buccaneers, drew the play up. And I can throw it pretty good. Like, I got a strong arm, and we've been working on it for a couple of weeks, and he finally called it up, and I dropped it in there for him.
What's that moment like? They're like, oh God, I can't believe they're calling this play right now.
You gotta love that.
It gives you a much better appreciation for how hard the quarterback position is. Yeah. Because there's a lot of big guys, and they're moving real quickly in your direction, and that's not always fun. To be able to stand there with some composure and deliver an accurate throw on time is not easy.
Did you play any other positions in high school? Was it always wide out?
I played quarterback early, and I played free safety as well.
So you were both sides throughout high school?
Yeah.
You were just recruited as a wideout because I was ready to. But you're too good of an athlete not to play.
I had a couple scholarships. A lot of schools actually recruited me to play defense. Like Penn State and Georgia and a lot of Nebraska. A lot of schools recruited me to play on the defensive side.
Yeah, well, we're very glad you chose to play
tough position.
I'm happy as well.
Exactly. All right, let's get into the emergency 9.
Yeah, this is a little E9, just 9 quick questions, kind of random. Get to know you a little bit better. We do it with everybody. Just a little Larry time here.
Okay.
You want to lead it?
Sure. Yeah, we do. Ask this to everybody. Movie made about the life of Larry Fitzgerald. Pick any actor, dead or alive. Who's gonna play it?
I gotta go with Denzel, man. I gotta go with Denzel.
You're gonna have to fight Gary Woodland for him.
Yeah,
Gary Woodland picked Denzel for him too. Which is interesting.
That'd be tough.
We'll offer him both to Denzel and see which one he picks.
That'd be tough.
Denzel's.
I had Idris Elba for you, who's a stud. I think. Yeah.
Mine was kind of a sad one, but I think y'all kind of have the same smile and everything with Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. I like his swag. He was awesome entertainer. Yeah.
Your movie actually might have a chance of getting made.
Yes.
I don't know if the Gary Woodland movie's going to get made anytime.
Gary's going to have to win a few more U.S. Opens.
You got to do some more shit. But all right, next one. You're part owner of the Phoenix Suns, so you could probably actually make this happen. You suit up for the Suns' next game. You get to play as many minutes as you want. Give me your stat line. People say you could.
I can shoot it. I can shoot it pretty good, but there's no chance I can compete with those guys. I mean, that's a completely different level.
Could you score?
Couple buckets, just cherry pick, like YMCA ball, just hang down.
Maybe 2 points, maybe
2.
You got to think
too humble.
No, I'm just being honest, like, because I played pickup with Devin and those guys before. Their level of conditioning is out of this world. If you haven't been running up and down that court and understand like what your legs feel like after about 10 times, your legs feel like jello. And to be able to jump and be able to shoot it and be able to do it against elite defenders, I'm talking about 6'7", 6'8" wingspan like Mikal Bridges, like you couldn't, even if you got around them, you can't get the ball in the hoop. It's just a different level. It would be like, somebody randomly just come out and catching a pass on Patrick Peters. It's just not going to happen. Or trying to block JJ. Anybody who's elite at what they do, there's a reason why they are that level.
They're so big. You got 7-footers running point guard now.
Yeah,
it's different.
It's crazy.
Different.
Sleaze thinks he could score.
I'll probably get 20 and 10, but I don't know about you.
There's not a chance in hell you would get sick.
You're right. All right, next one.
All right, you've been in the NFL for 17 years. If at any moment you could pick any quarterback that you've played with or against to be the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, who would it be?
In history, Joe Montana was the coolest, most collected player ever in history. You look at him in the most difficult Super Bowl experiences, and that guy looked like he's literally smoking a cigarette on the side of the road. Like the chillest, most calm guy ever. You would have to want to play with him. He'd make you feel that much more at ease when you look in his eyes.
I thought you would have said Drew Brees because I've heard you.
I love Drew. But Joe, the Super Bowls and just the unbelievable times he's had in those big games, always kind of resonate with me.
You might have 200.
I thought you'd for sure pick Derek Anderson.
I had a good time with DA. Me and DA connected quite often. Actually,
he's the best. He'll throw you the rock too whenever you want it. All right, next one. I assume you've met a lot or most of the people in the world that you would like to meet, but if you could spend one day with one celebrity who you have yet to meet, who would you want to spend it with?
that I've yet to meet.
He's met everyone.
Is there anyone? As a thinker.
Oh,
it's a
man.
tough question when you know everyone.
That's a good point. I guess you could say if you met somebody that you just loved it and want to spend another day with them, if you met everybody.
So now as I get older, it's like about the experiences. So like if I could, like Dr. King, Nelson Mandela, somebody who's like laid it on the line and done something that really changed humanity. That's more so my speed now.
Yeah, that's a powerful one.
Because if you like, this thing about golf is like the best 4-hour interview you can ever have. I mean, you get to spend 4 hours talking about any and everything you want in a very relaxed atmosphere. So, like if I could spend time with somebody, that's what I would do. Pick somebody that I was going to grow and learn from.
Very, very good answer. All right, next question. And I mean this. You're the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. No doubt about it. But I've heard you have been fined by the NFL, which shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
How many times?
Probably 5 times, probably.
Okay, well, I didn't know it was that many, so now this is going to be a problem. But there was one ridiculous one.
Larry, tighten up.
Which one?
The socks.
Yeah, they don't do that as often as they used to, but they used to fine the heck out of us.
Tell us about that, because I was shocked when I heard this.
So the uniform etiquette is your sock has to be halfway midpoint between your knee and your ankle. And so if it's any lower or any higher, they would fine you $5,000 for the infractions. And you would be amazed how many guys would get this fine every week.
It's a pair of socks.
But it was just, they wanted you to look just like the mannequin.
Yeah.
They wanted you to look exactly the way they wanted. Now they don't stress as much as they used to on it.
$5,000 for my socks being a little loud. Did you
yeah.
try to fight it at all?
Yeah, you could fight it, but if you were a repeat offender, you weren't getting out of it.
God, are you worried that's a little bit of a black eye in your reputation as a classy guy getting fined like that?
No,
sock violation.
Yeah,
the Hall of Fame might consider that.
I try to keep it classy, man. I try to keep it classy.
You do a pretty good job. They'll probably let the sock thing slide. I got a feeling. All right, I think you have 2, but correct me if I'm wrong. But which hole-in-one was more special for you? Your first one out at Whisper Rock, or the one you made with President Obama at Seminole?
So each one was special in his own regard. The thing that made my first one so special was I was with my father, and my dad's been playing golf for over 40 years. He never had a hole-in-one. So I skanked the 6-iron, like literally it might have got off the ground about this high.
Yeah.
And it was a back right pin. As you guys know, on 7, that's not an easy pin to get to. And it kind of like rode the contour on the hill and just kind of, I didn't see where it went. And then we got up there and it was in the hole. And my dad, kind of begrudgingly goes, "Son, congratulations." Like I've been playing six months and I made my first. He never made one. And so he was happy for me, but he was like, how in the fuck did he do that? And I haven't made one. Yeah. So that was cool to be able to do it with him. And then my buddy Andre was there. And so to be able to experience it with those two, and then, doing it with President Obama, come on, man. Like there's nobody you look up to and admire more, and so nervous going out there and playing with them, and to be able to do that was, a moment that you'll never forget. So they're both unique and special in their own right.
You got 2 though, right? Total?
I have 3.
2? Oh, you got 3?
Yeah.
Third's got to be a bit of a letdown after those first 2, huh?
Yeah, I was playing in Mountain Shadows. I don't know if you want to count it.
It counts.
Number 17, and I flew it right in the hole from like 180 yards.
Beautiful.
No pitch mark, just dropped it.
Hey, they all count.
Yeah.
They all count. All right, next question. Who's the most famous person to ever big time you?
Interesting.
Think back to maybe a singer from Minnesota.
A very short, small individual.
Prince didn't really big time me. He didn't really big time me. He just wasn't really. That's just how he was, though.
He wasn't as friendly as you thought he was going to be.
No, he definitely wasn't as friendly. But I think the biggest thing is, sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes, though, because what you kind of expect and what the pedestal you put them on is very hard to live up to it.
I heard you had the purple jacket rocking and everything.
Yeah, I went to an after school program at the high school he attended. I played basketball in the gym and the whole thing, and finally got to the league, and he invited us out to his spot. It's a great honor when you get invited to go to Paisley Park. He puts on these concerts, all the food and drinks, beautiful women, the whole 9. And I'm backstage, and he had this like cold purple thing that if he was out, you have to stand against the wall and not make eye contact. And I'm like, like this is strange, you know.
Yeah, that's
and
some weird stuff.
you know, and somebody introduced me, and I told them, hey man, I go to this school program at Central, and they tell us stories about, you know, if I worked hard, I might be able to have success at you. And I looked at me and said, it's cool, and kept it moving. You know what I mean? Like, and I thought I was that guy. You know, I had a couple Pro Bowls under my belt, and now I was a Minneapolis native, and I realized that I really wasn't that guy. And
Very disappointing.
So I don't know if he really big time, because everybody else that was there, he kind of like, it was beneath him.
That's
so.
just how he is.
Yeah.
If you got instructions before you go meet somebody, chances are it's going to be a weird interaction.
Yeah.
Here's what you do.
A Michael Jackson interaction was even more weird than that. It was the Beverly Wilshire years back, and I was there for the ESPYs, and he was up in this big suite. Me and a couple other guys that were brought up there, you know, he was like, hey, Michael, this is a couple guys playing in the National Football League. And he was literally behind the curtains in the hotel, and he was just mesmerized by the texture of the fabric of the window coverings. And you know, I was like, yeah, that's pretty bizarre. Mike, it was nice to meet you,
Mike.
man. It's nice.
Good catching
up. So, like the two greatest musicians of my era, right? You know, a little different, you know, just a little different. But I still love their music. Got a lot of respect for what they were able to accomplish. You know, the greatest in history. 200 years from now, they'll still be talking about those guys.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Prince. See you later. Good talking, bud. All right, next one. In college, all right, this is a true or false, okay? In college, did you ever turn off any of your quarterbacks' alarm clocks so they would oversleep and possibly miss class?
100%. I did that. I did. My college roommate, Tyler Palco, who's also a member at Whisper Rock and my locker mate, you know, he's like the most type A personality you will ever meet. So anything that I can do to like mess up his flow. I mean, he's got we're planning a member guest next week, and I cannot tell you how many times he's asked me, you know, hey, does it matter what service we use? Could we use Toro? Do you want to go Hertz? Like, I don't care. Just get a car. All right, just get the car. And do you want me to drive? It doesn't matter, Tyler. It doesn't matter who drives the car. You know, is your flight getting at 6:30 or 6:40? Doesn't matter. Just be there when I get there. You know, like I'm not detail oriented in any of that stuff. And so anytime I can mess his schedule up, I'm doing it. You know, so
I bet you drove him crazy in college.
Yeah. Oh man, I used to kill him, man.
You said you used to snatch his car 2 in the morning and take it, so you have to wake up and be no car.
Take his car and turn his alarm clock off. I got another story I got to tell you guys off air. You know, it was great, man. We had some good times in school.
Yeah, he's like these are my Monday socks, these are my Tuesday socks, and if they get flip flop, the week's done.
Oh man, and then he wouldn't talk to me for like, you know, a couple of days after that.
He still throw it to you though.
Of course.
Yeah,
you know, he's not crazy now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, number 9. We mentioned earlier you won the Pebble Beach Pro-Am twice with Kevin Streelman, but did you really abandon him for 6 holes in the middle of the tournament round?
Yes, I did. So before I got my invitation to play that year, you know, it's one of those things you kind of wait in the mail for, to send this really cool invitation. I hadn't gotten it yet. And so the Coyotes asked me if I would drop the puck. There was a Larry Fitzgerald bobblehead night, and they're playing against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and got a chance to meet Malkin and Sidney Crosby for the first time. And so like I committed to it, and I got the invitation, and I told Mr. John, say, look, appreciate this invitation, but I've already committed to dropping the puck, so I need to get back. So we're on number
12, right?
Number 13. 13, I hit my shot, played a hole, and I just duck off to the road, jump in the car, take me to the airport, fly in, drop the puck, jump back on the plane, and get back. And Strills goes 2 under on the way home. No, in for me, we make the cut. And then we got the dub on Sunday.
Were you looking at your phone the whole way? Like,
the whole way.
Kevin, just please don't make
refresh.
The whole way. But he was hitting it so good that day, you know, and he's used to playing by himself in these tournaments anyway, so I don't think it really changed anything for him.
Yeah,
when you got back, just give him a big hug. It's like,
oh yeah, because we stay together every time we go play. We always stay in the same house, and you know, eat the meals and watch the basketball games. Hopefully, there's a Duke game on that they can lose, and so. You know, we all, man, I love that dude, man. That's my guy.
That's awesome. Well, Larry, dude, this has been a blast, man.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Time,
I appreciate
man.
you guys having me.
Look forward to playing soon.
I look forward to it as well.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah.
And that was Larry Fitzgerald on Golf Subpar. Sleaze, I mean, awesome for him to take the time, come down, sit down with us here for an hour. I had a blast with him. I know that. I mean, he's a golf freak, and it's so cool. He gets so excited when he talks about golf.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, you get like non-golfers talking about golf and they light up. You get golfers talking about non-golf stuff and they light up. Clearly, Larry loves it. His game is nice. Like I said, we played with him. His handicap, he gets a lot of crap out for Pebble Beach, like it's sandbagging and things like that. His handicap is 100% legit. He could be really good. It's just that at Pebble Beach, he never has to hit that driver. He can hit that iron off of the tee all the time, and he's plenty long. He never gets in trouble, and that's why he and Streels are so tough to beat out there.
Yeah, they've won 2 Pebble Beach Pro-Am titles, one of which he left for 6 holes because he's a man of his word. Yeah. It was Larry Fitzgerald bobblehead night back in Phoenix at the hockey game. He had to go, leaves his man Streels for 6 holes, comes back, Streels holds on, and they get the job done. But so cool to talk to him. Obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best wide receivers to ever play the game. Shocking to me, he grew up in Minnesota. He's a big deal up there just like he is in Phoenix. Goes and meets one of the biggest musicians of all time, Prince. Gets big-timed a little bit.
Yeah, just when you think you're a big boy, when you're one of the big deals up there, you ain't big enough for Prince. And then how about Michael Jackson, too, shockingly. Michael's doing some weird things the first time he met him. But, yeah, the dude's pretty much been everywhere and seen everybody, but they don't get any better than him, man. They really don't. And you'll notice when we asked him some questions, we kind of gave him some room to run there about his career. Didn't close the door just yet, so I guess
he said
TBD
up until this point.
But he didn't close it.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if Larry is back on the football field or if he'll be spending every day on the golf course because nobody plays more golf than Larry Fitzgerald. But really, really fun to sit down with him. And Sleaze, now it's time to get to our favorite part, the gambling, which the Masters, it went okay for you. Not great, but I keep separating myself a little bit. Disappointing end. On Saturday afternoon before the rain delay, I was like, this leaderboard is ridiculous. This is it. It's going to be one of these guys. And then Hideki went this way. He went up the leaderboard right after the rain delay, and my guy had a little tough stretch. So, yeah, I'm sure he's not thrilled with his finish. But, yeah, T21 for Justin Thomas. And then you bring in Jordan Spieth right after the dub, and he backed it up with a little third. Yep, he played very, very well.
That lead's growing.
In these major championships, you got to finish high because the purses are so big. Producer Mark, how are the standings looking now?
Yeah, I don't think anyone caught a worse break from the weather than Justin Thomas. He ended up collecting still $119,600. So we have that, and then Colt, you obviously had Jordan Spieth, cool for $667,000. So that brings the lead up to $1,632,204.
I like it.
Just need a win. Just need a win and a miscut there. The bogey finish by our guy JT didn't quite. When you get up there in the top, that's a lot of money. But you know what I mean. Long season coming up, so plenty of time. But I am in a Mayday situation.
Every week you say it's a long season. Eventually it's going to be a short season.
That's what you got to keep telling yourself. You keep saying all the bullshit cliches over and over. Long season, one shot at a time. Stay in the moment. You just brainwash yourself into actually believing.
Well, I just got to get this thing to the house. But we're on to the RBC Heritage at Hilton Head, one of my favorite golf courses that I've ever played. It's so unique, so cool. Got a great field. Got Dustin Johnson in the field, Colin Morikawa, a lot of top players, coming for more of a relaxing week after the Masters at Augusta National. And I have the honor, thanks to Jordan Spieth. And, this place has some of the smallest greens on the PGA Tour. It requires great ball striking. And in 2020, this guy finished tied for third. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. He might lose his shit every once in a while, which I know we enjoy. But I'm going to go with Turl Hatton this week.
Turl. Love Turl. Very good spot for him. Hard to find a better iron player. All right. Going to need Turl to have a bit of a bad week for the kid here. All right. I've been debating on my pick between two guys. Tell you who I was debating, and then I'll tell you who I took. I got Kevin Kisner on the one hand over yonder. I got Daniel Berger on the other hand over yonder. Both good picks in my opinion. However, I'm going to go with Kevin Kisner. All right, and he's coming off a miscut at Augusta, shot +5. I'm not sweating that. He's going back to a place much better suited to his game than Augusta National. Straight driver, great putter. He's got a playoff loss here to Jim Furyk. Finished top 11 in 3 of his last 7 starts here. So you go horses for courses. Maybe he's a little fresh after taking the weekend off from Augusta. Go down to Hilton Head. He's a South Carolina boy. Go get it done. Give me some chicken. Move me up this thing and get it a little tighter. That's the goal.
I love that you picked him. Okay, is the pick submitted, Producer Mark? Is it official now?
Actually, I was just joking about that based on this next information I'm about to get. Pump fake.
I need to know if the pick is locked in.
Is he
Pending,
injured?
pending an injury or a withdrawal.
0 injured. He
Okay,
is playing.
pending. I said it. Pending injury or withdrawal. What's the inside scoop?
He had a rough week at Augusta National. He's had the same putter for a very long time. He's said to me and many others he would leave his wife before he leaves that putter. And Friday after the round, the putter got broken in 2. So might have a new wand.
Bad news
in the bag this week.
Bad news for the wife too.
But Kevin Kisner is going to be making a putter switch, I'm guessing, because that one I saw a picture of it and it was snapped beautifully. But good luck to you this week, Kevin Kisner.
That's all right. Those things go stale. Sometimes you got to put them in the bench. You got to put them on the bench for a little bit. I get that. Bring him some new meat. You know what I mean? Let them know they're not invincible. It's not ideal news if you really think about it, but I'm still okay with it. Just go do what you do, Kev. Come on.
All right. Well, before we get to next week's episode, Sleaze, we got to tell everybody, thank you so much for our merch debuted last week during the Masters. Y'all loved it, obviously. Sold a ton of them. You got another one on right there, the Birdie Juice, with our little birdie that likes to get amongst it. Make sure you go to that Golf.com pro shop, pick up some swag. We got a lot of cool stuff and more coming on the way. And next week's Sleaze, we got not a rival. He's our friend, but he also does a podcast. You're probably very, very familiar with him. He's Riggs from Barstool's Foreplay. He sits down and gets amongst it with us.
Yeah, I'd say frenemy. You know, friends. We're in the same arena, but frenemy. There's a mutual respect. We go tit for tat. We're both men of the law. Always Sunny reference there. It was cool, man. Like I clearly we all know about Foreplay and Barstool Sports and stuff, but kind of getting the background on how he got into it and all that stuff. It was fun sitting down with him and getting to know him a little better.
Yep, you're not going to want to miss it. But that's going to do it for us. We'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.